Hi. I recently watched a video in the vinyl community by Vinyl Richie and then MJK Boston, and then I realized that several people were responding to Richard McCook's 10 final questions. And I wasn't a subscriber to Richard, but I went onto his channel and realized amongst many different videos, he's also had 20 other questions that people have responded to in times gone by. So I thought, well, the least I can do is have a look at the 10 final questions and give my own take on it. And so that's what I'm going to do today. So the first one, so thanks Richard for the questions, by the way, and thanks Vinyl Richie for prompting me and Mike at MJK Boston. Right, so the first question of Richard's questions: do you ever struggle to come up with ideas for videos? Not really. I think my biggest problem is just the motivation of trying to do the homework that's required to do something that's of value to anybody who wants to watch it. And I'll come back to this. There's another question on the list which I'll talk a little bit about my channel and other channels. But I've got loads of ideas. Some of them are not. I mean, they're fairly basic, but I don't sweat the idea problem. It's not a big issue for me. It's not about the number of videos that you put out or the frequency you put the videos out. It's just a question of whether it's kind of interesting to me and interesting to anybody else. The second question: if purchasing subscribers was an option, would you partake? No chance. There's no way. I mean, what's the point? I mean, the sort of stuff that we're involved with, talking about vinyl records and CDs, it's a fringe interest. You know, we're not doing TikTok style videos of dancing girls or talking dogs or whatever it might be. So it's not about the subscriber numbers. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Do you like to mention how much you paid for your records? I couldn't care less, really. I've only bought about 3 or 4 records that I had in mind that they might be worth something. One of them is, let me see if I can get it. Let me put this mic down for a second. Now, let's see if I can take this one out. Bear with me. Yeah. Oh, right. So a few years ago, I bought. I went to a record shop, and I saw a copy of this, which is Bob Dylan's 50th Anniversary Collection, 1964. Now, if I remember rightly, this is something that people hate about other people's videos, and that they spend too much time fiddling with the hardware. Okay, here we go. So there's a whole list. It's a whole list of LPs here. So LP 9 LPs, and they were released by Columbia, Sony, to head off bootlegging of Dylan's catalogue and Dylan's unreleased catalogue. So this has got stuff from CBC Studios in Ontario, NBC Studios, some house stuff, BBC Royal Festival Hall concert 1964. Columbia Studios, more stuff there. Anyway, so a whole bunch of stuff there. Anyway, cut long story short, I bought 2 copies of that, and I also bought a copy of the 1963 version, and I think I paid 150 quid or something, and I thought one day they'll be worth a lot of money. But I don't trade records, so I don't. I'm not really bothered about how much they're worth, because I basically can't be asked to go and try and sell them anywhere. Generally speaking, when I buy records, I tend to buy, I went through years and years and years. I've been collecting records now for over 50 years, just over 50 years. And, there was a time when I was buying new releases, routinely. Some bands and artists, I was buying their record releases on the day of release. I don't sweat that stuff anymore. I really don't. And I tend to search for bargains, really. So full price records, that might be typically £30, and I can pick it up for 15 because there's a promo on it. Then that's what I'll buy. But generally speaking, I look for bargains. So you'll not see stuff in my collection that's worth thousands of pounds. Anyway, that was a long answer. Sorry about that. Do you like... Do you like to mention how much? Yeah, that's right. Are there genres of music that you really don't like and would never show on your channel? I've got quite broad taste, so I'm not really that opinionated on stuff that I hate. I don't really hate anything. I'll just not listen to it if it doesn't really appeal. Jazz, I've got a collection that's been building for years now, but to be honest, apart from one or two of my jazz favorites, I might do a video or two on that, or one or two videos. I won't do an extensive number of videos on jazz because I'm just not knowledgeable enough. I didn't grow up with this stuff, and it's some of it's very, very enjoyable. Some of it is challenging beyond belief. But the key thing is, I don't think I can offer anything in terms of useful commentary on jazz, other than just the casual interest of, you know, what Dave's interested in, you know, what floats his boat in that arena. I won't talk about heavy metal because, although I liked hard rock in the 1970s, and there are bits and pieces that I've liked since, and seen bands more recently as well, is like back in the day. I don't know enough about heavy metal either, and it's became a cartoon genre, very formulaic. The new wave of British heavy metal that came along around 1980 in the early 80s just didn't appeal to me at all. So even though I'll hear individual tracks and they'll be good, I'm not so bothered. Like a bit of Metallica, like a bit of Megadeth, but generally speaking, I will not do videos on that. And I won't do videos on Shawadi Wadi or Brotherhood of Man or the Nolans, but you know, there you go. When watching other people's videos, do you ever flick through a video until you find an artist shown that you like? Now, I mentioned Vinyl Richie at the beginning, and Vinyl Richie's musical tastes are so far away from mine, I'll probably never end up. I mean, there's one or two albums that he's shown that I've taken an interest in, and I might have a copy myself. But quite frankly, his stuff like 80s punk and everything, it's just not my thing. I was never significantly exposed enough to it. But Vinyl Richie's videos are just great because I just love his manner, and the way he talks about his records with real enthusiasm is brilliant, and that goes for the same for some other people as well. But occasionally, if someone's not speaking in a compelling enough manner, an interesting enough manner, and there's a whole series of albums that are kind of don't kind of mean anything to me, and then I will occasionally flick through, but I tend not to bother. Partly because I'm retired now, for all intents and purposes, so I've got loads of time to watch YouTube videos from the vinyl community. So there you go. What are your thoughts on shorts? Waste of time, not interested. I thought for a time I might do something where I might just pick a random record out and just give a one-liner on it, but what's the point? You know, unless you're doing, like I suggested earlier, these TikTok videos of talking dogs and such, like ones that may go viral. But even then, what's the point? You know, why would you be interested in stuff going viral? I mean, anyway, not interested. Do you use the community tab for polls, etc.? No, never used it. Don't click on it. Just I don't know enough about it, so I don't. Is there anything about your own videos that you don't like? Well, the lighting's always tricky. Sometimes my videos go on too long, but then again, I make videos basically for myself. You know, this particular channel is not just for the vinyl community, even though music is probably my primary interest, or has been over the years. You know, I do stuff about cycling, I do stuff about, hiking trips, maybe holiday trips. Occasionally I'll do a kind of a monologue when I'll go out with the GoPro and I'll talk. So if something's on my mind, and when I look back on that footage, if there's something that kind of seems vaguely coherent and it pulls together, I might say, okay, well, that's what I'll put out. But I think the biggest concern I've got of my videos and channel is that it's such an eclectic mix, really. It's not deliberately only for the cycling or vinyl communities or anything else for that matter. It's kind of just a window on my world. And I do some videos of family trips and things that I keep private, but use YouTube as the repository for that, or for those videos. And I kind of look at this whole video making game as just kind of just putting stuff in one place, which you know, one day maybe I might look back and think, 10 years ago, that's what was on my mind. I was talking about that particular band. It was kind of fun, interesting to do. So that's why I do it. Is there anything about other people's videos that you don't like? Well, just like everyone else, I don't like long intros. I just don't think it's appropriate in a vinyl community, because an intro is good once. If you're trying to discover a new channel, by all means. But if you see the same damn intro going on time after time after time, you just skip it. So I don't like that. I don't like people who do jump cuts, and I don't like people who do jump cuts. I think when you do these videos, you kind of, it kind of seems strange to me that someone wants to talk for 20 minutes about an album or an artist that really matters to them, and yet they have to keep looking down or at a computer screen or some notes, or they keep screwing up in what they're saying, and they have to do a jump cut and an edit. I kind of think, well, it doesn't matter if people and ah, if people say it comes out the wrong way. It just doesn't matter. The question is, are you interested enough to listen to what this person's got to say? So people who use jump cuts, I say to them, use notes. Nothing wrong with using notes. If you want to refer to notes, it's a long video, you try to draw distinctions between one album and another album, use some notes to help you remember the stuff that you think about it. And if you want to do something that is more lasting, well, do the work. Listen to the albums again and again. Really think about what they mean. So I don't like the idea of people not doing the homework. Now, that's not to say I do the occasional random pick, and that's a bit of a mess sometimes, but I kind of just do that for fun, really. But I don't, and finally, I'm complaining a lot here. I don't like people who do rundown videos of more than a handful of artists. Nobody is that dedicated to that many different artists that they can talk with authority and with real experience and knowledge about so many different bands and so many different artists. So keep it down to 2 or 3 or 4 of your favorites, and don't try and cover every name band that's on the planet. All right. If you were to stop making videos, would you shut down the channel completely? No, because like I said, it's my repository. Would I keep the videos live? Well, yeah. Make the videos private, not stuff in vinyl community. That can stay out there. Would you make an announcement that you would no longer be making videos? This is the last question. I might do, because the nature of my channel is, like I suggested earlier, it's kind of a window on my world, and something for me and my family also to kind of tap into at some point in the future if something terrible was to happen to me. So I might, rather than just disappear off the scene, I might say, well, I've done my bit, I've done enough cycling videos, I've got nothing else to say or nothing else to show, or no interesting places, any more interesting places to visit. Same with the hiking. I might do more or less of talking about, say, current affairs, but I also, I might come to a point where I say, I'm not going to engage with that stuff anymore. I'm not going to say anything anymore. And in the vinyl community, I might just run out of artists, really, that I want to talk about. But as long as music is, and something that I'm enthusiastic about and I'm listening to every day, then I'll probably continue to make videos. But when I wrap all of that up, there's a bunch of people that regularly comment on my videos, and I comment on theirs, and there's a little bit of a community maybe going on there. I think it's kind of rude just to disappear without trace or without saying anything. So I might say to them, I'm kind of done. It's been great. Keep in touch, but blah blah blah. I'm not going to be doing any more substantial videos. Bloody long answers. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Richard, thanks for those questions. That's the 10 questions. Interesting questions. I think the other 20 questions that he'd put out on previous videos, those are also good questions. And I'm kind of thinking that you know, when the time comes, I might go back to them and also those questions, and also do another video. So there you go. So that's Richard McCook's 10 final questions. He calls them final questions because he's burnt out on that front. Try it yourself. It's been fun, and I'll see you on the next video, when I will be talking about my first year of buying music. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.